Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Wholesale Hotties, the place where ladies in real estate are talking about real estate. I'm your host and MC, Sharon Lee Smith, together with my co-host, Monique Fell. Hey, Monique, how are you?
Good, Sharon. How are you?
I'm good. We are missing our other favorite co-host, Donda Mullinex, who is on vacation for her birthday. I'm so jealous that she's in Cancun. And our other co-host, Jen, who's being a fantastic mom as usual. We have our very first hottie. That is a guy. Hey, Brian, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing just great. Can you hear me fine?
I can hear you just fine.
I want to make sure because my technical skills are not so great.
Okay, none of ours are great. So, Brian, let me start real quick because just before we hit go live, you asked a very important, I think, an important question. You said, why did we choose live rather than recording a podcast and whatnot? Monique, why did you think we should do live? What do you think?
Well, I think that we never really clarified why we're doing live, but I know that we were kind of trying to get a flavor of like raw and real, and we're just speaking about really kind of like almost the View channel. So how they like talk back and forth and give some real live viewpoints and structure, and isn't anything that we don't edit anything. It all comes out right here live.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's why, in my opinion, that's why we chose live as well. I liked the real people, right? And so when you're live, you just say what comes to mind and you get the real person. So
I love that. I have a podcast and I don't do it live. I don't know. That's just a little too nerve-wracking for me. But I'm the same as you. I want it to be natural, and I'm not editing it. It's when it comes out, you're going to see me make all the mistakes. So being real and being straightforward, not letting people think that you're some kind of perfect machine that can do these things. No, this is real people doing things, right?
Exactly. And I think that's so important just for mindset, right? Showing people that we are just human and that it's okay for them to make mistakes too.
It's so funny. Again, that's what my podcast is about too. It's like teaching people, getting people earlier in their life engaged in doing something unique or special, or just doing something that they can own. Is what I'm trying to do too. So it's like, you're right. It's not perfect, and you're going to fall on your face. And if you aren't doing it that way, God love you. But not many people don't fall on their face when they're trying.
Yeah. Especially in real estate investing, right? So many deals go bad, go wrong. There's complications, like you open a wall, there's termite damage or something that you didn't expect every time, I feel like. And if you can't kind of roll with the punches, you won't survive very long. So tell us how you got into real estate.
Well, exactly what we've been talking about a little bit. I owned a house with my first house I bought a month before I got married in oh God, I'm gonna date myself here. 1991. My goal was, as a 23-year-old, is to buy my house before I got married, and I bought it in July and got married in August, right? Nice. And I lived there for a few years, had a couple kids, and realized that house was just too small. Right. Bought the other house, the new house that was bigger, and I rented my house out as a 26-year-old, I think I was. Okay. And let me just say this. I thought, I didn't think it through, but I thought, hell, I'll have family rent it, because that way I can guarantee that someone will pay the bill.
Oh, no.
Well, that's not the case. And in that moment, I didn't know people like you. I didn't know what to do, but I did know one thing. I can't afford, on my business income, to pay 2 mortgages.
Right.
So I made the drastic decision Now it's drastic. Then it was the right decision. I sold the property because my family member didn't pay the rent, and I was panicking. And so since that moment, I knew right after I saw, I thought, man, if I just had some kind of knowledge more, I could have kept that, and it would have been paid off. And it's in San Diego. I would be getting $4,000 a month rent income paid off by now. And I've lived with that decision for a very long time. And I used that as a reason why not. I can't do this in California. I can't. I can't afford 2 mortgages. I can't. And I didn't have someone in my ear saying, no, you can, here's how. And so I tormented about that for years. And I was 52 years old. A couple of things happened. My business, I was an insurance agency. Hey, what are you making noise with? I was an insurance agency. And I just decided I wasn't enamored. I loved the connection with my clients, but I wasn't enamored with the business anymore. COVID hit. My employees were acting up. My wife got sick, and I'm like, you know what? I need to stop living for my family's income. I need to start doing something I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And so I started looking into a word that I never heard. In California, it's not a word that we talk about. It's called cash flow. Oh, I love what cash flow was, and so I just said I'm going to do it, and I started looking around the country, and I started buying in Memphis, Tennessee, and that was 5.5 years ago. So that was it. I just took off.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So, what asset classes are you buying to get your cash flow?
So I am a insurance guy. I think I said that right.
Yeah.
Risk mitigation, okay?
Right.
Not a risk taker by nature. I have to push myself through that. So when you're buying real estate, it's risky. Well, where's the safest? Well, the safest is cash flow. The safest is B properties where you can buy, in my first couple properties I bought very traditionally, 20% down, go get a loan, so I can afford $20,000 in my first house. And so where can I do that? In the Midwest, in the South, and as long as the cash flow, I can do that. And so I started with B properties because I felt like, if something happens, the A people are living in the A properties can move down, and it's not a C property where you're dealing with a lot of stuff. So I started with B properties, single family. Got about 10 of them before I realized, wait, I want to do something different with the asset class. So I started looking for multifamily, small multifamily. And I stuck there until this last year, at which point I'm starting to figure out that I can't get to 300 doors one house at a time.
That would take a lot of years to do.
So a big deal that you made recently.
Yeah, I was talking to someone about this, and I'm like, I just feel like I just didn't do anything this year, because every year I'd buy 3, 4, 5 properties. When I first started. Well, this year I bought 2 properties with partners, and so it just doesn't sound like much. It happens to be a 24-unit apartment complex and a 15-unit multi-use property in Ohio. So, so that's kind of what I'm trying to kind of push
more doors
forward.
than before.
Yeah. I more than doubled my doors
which
in
is
1
2,
year.
which is 2 transactions.
Exactly. I mean, I think I sold one of my triplex recently, so I think I'm like 65 doors or something like that. So sounds cool, except for I'm only 5 years in. It's not like a lot of cash flow comes back into my pocket where I spend it. It's more like cash flow, great to go back in the savings account for when the air conditioning unit gets stolen.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
That's, I think, an important thing to point out, right? People, I had like maybe 2 doors, right? And the tenants that I rent to, they think that you're so wealthy because you're the landlord, right? And the reality is the total at the end of the year, like net, isn't even enough to replace the damn HVAC if it goes out. So like, No, I'm not rolling in dough because I have 2 houses. Come on now.
It's
I think that's
funny we say, because I was just talking to, I have a partner in my funding business that is coming on. She's not a real estate person. She wants to build businesses,
nice.
and she's starting to see real estate as things. So I just showed her today, like my Tennessee portfolio, and I said, see this portfolio, here's what it brought in. It brought in this number this year, but then I had to pay all these bills, and
Yeah.
these 2 properties lost a big chunk because they had rehab, and I end up with this number. She said, oh, that's a good number. I said, oh, wait, I did also on top of that pay mortgage, PITI, mortgage, taxes, insurance, and so I don't that number, and and so at the end she's like, wait, you're only making that.
Yes.
But then I smoothed it over. That's when I
Yeah.
smoothed it over. I said, but yes, but over the last 4.5, 5 years, they paid down $70,000 in my debt, and my
Sure.
tenants did,
Yeah.
and it's grown in value,
Right.
and so I point out that there's 4 ways that I'm doing this. But yeah, anybody who thinks that you're doing this to just sit back and roll in the dough over 10 properties or whatever the number is,
Right.
yeah, they don't know. They don't
They
know.
don't get it at
They
all.
don't.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I think that's the key. That's why there are a lot of real estate investors, but there's not.
Yeah.
When I first sold my insurance business 3 years ago, I thought to myself, how do I do this? I'm going to build my portfolio, but I have to make active income. And so
Right.
and before that time, every one of my clients that found that I was buying properties outside of California, and every one of them, my friends found out, they're picking my brain. How do you
Yeah.
do that? Have you ever been to Memphis? Have you moved there? Do you have any family there? All the questions,
Yeah.
and I'd say, and I would tell them, I'd love to show you how to do this. And so after I sold the business, I thought, well, you know what? I could probably be some kind of like liaison to them to get them to do their portfolio. That'd be kind of cool for me
Ah,
because I can get them started in real estate, and
yeah.
maybe I can partner with them. Maybe I can charge them a fee to do all the work because I could tell them
Right.
all the things. I will tell you right now, I know that people think of insurance agents as salesmen. And that
Right.
is used car salesmen, lawyers, and insurance people, they are all horrible, right? But I did 27 years in the insurance business, and I never sold. I built relationships, and
Right.
people stayed with me. They grew, they bought more, and they referred, and that's how I built my business. So,
They trust you.
oh, yeah, they did, yeah. And also, I get out of insurance, and I find myself
And you
trying to
do.
sell people.
Yeah.
Hey, you should buy rental properties. It's good for you. It's a great hedge against this. It's all these things, and I made a couple people get into it. I shouldn't say made. I got them to see the light and do it,
Right. You
but
saw the
they
light. Yeah.
but they didn't, because they didn't see that. They thought they could buy one and be done, and you
Yeah.
can't buy one. You have to. It has to be a passion, and
Yeah.
so I stopped selling them on that because I don't like selling. And I think what happened is I was lending some of my own money at the time, and I said to one of my guys, I said, "Would you, you don't like this, but would you lend money on a project if you got your money back within so much time?" And the light went on, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I guess people will do. They want to be in, but they don't really want the burden. They don't want the long term problem. If that makes
Oh
sense.
yeah. Not only long-term problem, but like the people problems, right? Tenants are a pain in the,
Oh, no, no,
and
no, no.
and like there's just, there's problems with plumbing and electrical. Like there's just so many things, and you don't really see that until you're in it. And yeah, you gotta love it, or it's just not
Yeah,
worth it.
I wrote a check for $9,990.22 today, for the one of the units in my duplex in Ohio, because
Mm,
the tenant demolished it,
yeah,
and they
Yep.
moved out. And so yeah, it happens.
yeah,
You got to be prepared for that.
yeah.
So for
Well, it
sure.
sounds like, Brian, you not only started investing in single family, multifamily apartment buildings, but you also lend. So did you start the lending right away, or was that after you started buying properties that you started lending money?
Yeah, so I started buying real estate a couple years before I sold my insurance business. So by the time I sold my insurance business, I had bought 10, 10, 11 doors.
Mhm.
Um, I bought my first four traditional, go out and get a loan, pay 20% down.
Mhm.
Then the fourth house I bought cash, and then I fixed it up and I burred. And I did that, that was the first burr. I'm like, wait, that's cool. I like
So for the
that.
people that don't know what BRRRR means, can you kind of elaborate on BRRRR?
Absolutely. So we're always looking for ways to get your money back out of a property. So the first three doors I bought, I put 20% down of the value, and that money still is in those properties today. So how do you figure out, how do you keep doing this and do it with other people's money type thing, right? So what BRRRR is you buy it, okay, and you can buy it in different ways, but I'm just going to go with what I did. I bought it cash, okay, $62,500, okay, and then I went in the price, found out what needed to be done, hired a contractor, built a relationship there, spent $32,000 on my rehab. Okay, so now I'm all in the 90s, range, and then I went out to a bank. So I bought it, I rehabbed it. That's the first R. The second R would be I rented it, right? So
Mhm.
now I got cash flow coming in. Rented it for $1,400, I think, at the first year, a month, and then I went to a bank and I refinanced it. That's the fourth, the last R, and the bank says it's worth 110. I put 90 into it. I end up getting almost all my money back out. So the refinance guy comes in and says it's worth 110. I'll give you 80% of that, and I think they gave me 87.5 or something like that, and I put like 92 into it. So I left $4,000 or $5,000 in it. I thought to myself, okay, my fourth deal, I left $5,000 in a deal, and I got all my money back out. That's pretty dang cool.
Yeah.
So that's the BRRRR strategy, and it was great then, especially because at that time was when the interest rates were low, and my interest rate on that property, I still own it, is I think in the mid threes,
Nice.
Nice.
right? And then then I found somebody who had three doors and three houses, and they wanted 200,000. I said I'll give you 140, and they took it. So I bought three houses for 140. I
Nice.
sold one of them for 50,000. Put nothing into it, and then the other two I did the BRRRR strategy. I had bought them, I had fixed them all up, I refinanced them over the 6 month period, and got all my money back out on those ones. I'm like, okay, I'm a genius. I can do this.
And you don't even live in the state that this is happening.
These are in Tennessee. I was in California still at the time. So yeah. So at some point you think you're a genius, and then you get hit in the head a few times along the way. But, but yeah. So I bought 10 houses like that before I sold my insurance business, and then all of a sudden, it's amazing. All these banks who are clamoring to lend me money, all of them nothing. All of a sudden, just because I have an 800 credit score, but I have no W-2 or business for 25 years, they did not like me anymore, and I had to figure out I had to pivot. So I was that's when I found how do I do this more creative than I've already been doing it, and that's when I started doing. I joined the guy who puts this club on. Pace Morby's got such creative. Just an amazing brain for how to get things done when it's not traditional, and so that's what I started doing. So
Nice.
Yeah. So does that answer that question there, Monique?
Yes, and then after you joined the group, your life just became even more open, and what the opportunities were there, and the way that you can start a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me back up. Today, as of a year ago, I had bought houses traditional. I've done cash, and then the BRRRR strategy. I bought. I got a friend of mine who had funds who didn't want to be too risky. He lent me. I bought a house with his private money. I'm actually refinancing that house now, and he's going to get all his money back, which is kind of cool. Um,
All
I
his money
bought.
plus.
I'm sorry.
All his money plus he gets
Oh
a
yeah,
fee.
yeah, yeah. He's been getting paid every month for 2.5 years,
Yeah.
and
So it's nice
he's
little
making
cash
his money.
flow for him.
Yeah, so he's very happy. He's one of my lenders in my lending business now. Um, Let me see here. I bought, and I joined this creative group, and I bought my first house, subject to. I know some people know what that is, some people don't. I don't know if I should explain it, but basically taking over the existing mortgage because the mortgage rates are so low, and so you take over their loan, and you get to pay that mortgage down that much faster because of the lower interest rates,
So that means
and
you didn't
so
have to come up with 20% down out of your own pocket.
well, do you want me to be honest, or do you want me to tell you? Because I
You
can
can,
tell you,
you
I
can
can
be
tell you a story.
all right, poor
Um,
Phil.
well, no, my first subject to property I bought, I put way more money into it than I had on my 20% down deals, because you learn things, right? Well, somebody brought that to me. The wholesaler brought that to me, and guess what? I don't want to be a wholesaler. I will gladly pay a wholesaler to bring me the right property. So you pay them. And then the seller wants a little bit of a chunk of money because he's going to walk away from this property. And I like the property, so okay, I'll pay them. And then I'm going to give you the real scoop here. Then when you're closing escrow on December 22nd, and the seller says, "Can I just stay in for the holidays?" And I say, "I have a big heart. How about you pay for January rent to me for January?" I did that smart. And at the end of January, you move out then, and then I will do my thing. That was a great idea. I'll tell you right now, there's little tricks. One thing I fell into is I actually had that in the contract that he's going to pay me rent, thankfully. Because when he didn't move out this February 1st or
Yep.
March 1st
Yep.
or April 1st, and I had to hire an attorney, fly to Knoxville, Tennessee, to evict him and go to court. And I didn't get him out until like June. So that's 4 months. Wasn't I was paying the mortgage, but I wasn't getting anything out of it.
Yep.
So you learn these things. So that cost me money, right? The
Yep.
lawyer cost me money, and then I had to rehab it after he moved out.
Yep.
So I ended up putting more money into that deal than probably any other deal.
Yep.
But I learned so much.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that I think I couldn't convey to people early. You can't buy one property. You
Yeah.
can't. You have to keep going, and you have to learn your lessons. You have to get smacked in the face, and then you have to stand back up and go, okay, what am I not going to do again? And you kind of keep going, right?
That's really good advice.
Yeah,
That's
you have to have persistence,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure. And then, so Monique, to your point, I joined. Can I say the names? I don't. Some people
Yes,
don't
please.
want to say
No,
names.
go for it.
Okay, I don't. I don't want to talk about it unless you guys want me to. But yeah, I joined Sub Two back, and that's when I started buying Subject Two. I bought 7 or 8 of them now.
Mhm.
I then did a couple fix and flips with a partner. Did not like that. I don't like the feel of doing the fix and flip myself. So I
Mhm.
learned that. And then I joined Gator,
Mhm.
it was just a substitute to learn how to lend, because I thought, well, that's cool. And I found really quickly, I love Pace Morby. I'm never saying anything bad, but Gator's not my style.
Yeah.
Not my thing. I didn't like a lot of things about the people I was dealing with in that. So I did a couple deals, learned my lesson, got out, and thought, okay, that's not going to be my way.
Yep.
And then started my lending business surely by me lending my own money and going, oh, I like that. Oh, I don't like that. And did a couple deals. And then an amazing deal. The deal of the century came along, and it was, $140,000 was needed in first position, which is good. And I had 50K because I had done other lends, and I only had 50K. So I called a friend up and said, hey, would you have, the 90K I need? And
Mm.
he's like, no, but I have 60K. I said, hold on, I'll call you back. And I called someone else to say, hey, I got a deal. Do you have 40K, or whatever the number was? And he's like, yeah, I'll do it. And so I talked two people into doing it that never did it, and I got the deal done, and it went swimmingly. And I was like, okay, I am the master of all knowledge. I got this, you know. And then I started doing that a little bit, and then somebody said to me on the second time I did that with a friend, he's like, "Oh, how much did that cost the borrower?" I said, "What do you mean the cost of borrow? They borrowed the money to pay me the return." They're like, "Wait, but you put two people together on that with you, right?" Yeah. They're like, "Well, did you charge for your work?" What? Huh? You can do that?
Yep.
What? So
Yep.
everything I do is me falling on my face, honestly.
Yeah.
So that's
Awesome.
that was it. But I'll tell you right now, Owners Club is what has pushed me over the line. You mentioned it earlier, Monique, that I've made some changes in the way I think and the way I'm growing, and my ability to be on this today. I I I'm very personal. I love talking to people. I love building relationships, but this scares, oh, this is media. This is not friends. These are not just conversations. This is beyond me, and I wouldn't even try it. So those are the kind of things that I'm coming out of my shell that you mentioned earlier.
Well, we're glad you're coming out of your shell. This is great.
Yeah.
Let me make a suggestion to you, because Gator's not my speed either. Look up Eddie Speed, and his brand, his thing is called Note School, and it's all about long-term lending, first position lending, bigger dollars, and wrap lending, like what you just talked about. And Eddie Speed is phenomenal. He's really phenomenal. Yeah, Eddie Speed.
I love that. Yeah, you know what? I think that you got to find that niche that fits you. I don't like short term flips. I don't like, I matter of fact, when I talk to certain people in these communities that I told you I don't really love.
Yeah.
They're unrealistic about. They're really realistic about the one deal that they see in front of them.
Right.
They're really realistic about how well they're going to do forever doing that one thing. Yeah. And they get one deal that happens to work out. And by the way, I'm not bagging on them. I'm telling you, I did it. Right. I got my first deal and I made that 30% return in 4 months. And I thought I was a god until you can be a god for 3 or 4 deals and think you're amazing, and it's the fifth deal that takes all that money away that you earned in those deals plus some, and you go, oh, so I should go in this with a safety mindset, not a I'm gonna get rich mindset, and that honestly, that just comes with experience and
maturity, age, experience.
I actually had someone from that community that I think is a great person, and I think that I can do a lot of business with. And to me, one deal doesn't matter. I want to do deal after deal after deal with my borrowers and with my lenders. Right? That's my thing, relationship building. And she just turned me down on a deal that I thought was solid. I mean, really, the borrower was amazing. The deal was amazing. I know my documents are amazing. I know I do my job on that side. And she says, well, no, my partner wants to go back to the same type of deal that we just came off of. And it happened to be one of those deals that they are going to get rich on. And I just said, just be careful and just know that I'm still going to be here when you're ready. It's all you can do, because people have to experience things. I was, they have to. My kids, I joke about my kids all the time that, they're all better looking than me. They're all smarter than me. They're all blonder than me, or better blue eyes, or whatever. They have it all except for the one thing that I do have over them, which is experience.
Right.
And experience is what gets you to that next level. You can be as smart as you want to be until you get hit in the face. Right. So,
right.
Yeah. So that is the game. Yeah. So slow and steady is my thing. Relationships are them. I found actually every time I've lost money, I have lost money. I've lost money.
Haven't we all?
Yes. every time I've lost money, it's been, I think maybe one of them was in first position, but the rest of them were in second position.
Yep.
And the returns were going to be amazing.
Right.
And the key of those wasn't even those two things. The key was I didn't know the borrower.
Mm.
You can't know them. They can't be all your best friend, but I didn't take the time to understand their experience,
True.
to understand their morals, to understand, all the things. And every time I lost money, it's been with someone that I did not know, that I didn't have a relationship with.
Yeah. That's such an important lesson.
Yeah, that's the big one. That's the big one. And quite frankly, that's not just with lending. That's with partnering on projects where I'm buying a
Oh
property.
yeah, contractors, everything. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I've lost
so-
more money with contractors that walked.
Yeah. Relationships
Mhm.
are in everything you do. And I think that there's a lost art to building relationships.
Yeah.
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 Oh, it's just
so
getting
that's-
more and more intense as AI becomes more prevalent and these Zooms and not feeling the energy in the room because, it's different in a Zoom than it is when you're in the actual room with
Yeah.
people and building those relationships. It's different. It's a different animal.
Yeah.
It is. And well, it should be. It's not that you can't build it.
Right.
Monique, you and Monique, you're a friend of mine. Okay. That's
Yeah.
the way I look at you. We've only seen each other in face to face 2 or 3 times.
Right.
Right. We
Right.
do a lot of Zooming, a lot of this kind of thing. But I think that over time, you have come to my heart that I like you and I know you. But it's taken time. Right.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people want that shortcut. Hey, well,
Yeah.
I don't need to see you. I don't need to know you. I can just text you and we're friends. No.
No. Yeah.
But I'm part of your social media clique, so I know we're friends. No.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm old. I know I can see the gray myself too, but that's the wisdom part.
Yeah. Oh
take your
yeah.
time.
No, I totally agree with you there. I can't tell you how many people reach out to me on social media and they think that they know me because they've followed me for however many years on Facebook or Instagram. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't post but a fraction of my life publicly, right? Yeah, everything I post is public, but it's this much of me. You know what I mean? You don't know me just because you've followed me or whatever. Yeah, absolutely. People don't understand that the importance of time and relationship and conversation and interaction to build that.
Yeah. Small microcosm of that would be I have a guy who wants me to loan some money to him. And I've never done a deal, but he was referred to by someone who I do trust. So there's
Okay.
one little chink in, that I can say, okay, I'm on his team. And then he sent me a deal and I'm looking at it, I'm going, wait, he's not, he thinks he's saying the ARV in this property is 130. I'm seeing 160 all day long. So I'm thinking, okay, what's this guy doing? And I get on the phone, I ask him that question, and he's like, I just like to be really conservative. Okay. So that doesn't mean that he's sold me in the fact that he's going to be a great person yet, but it's like
Right.
one more thing that he's built.
One more green flag.
Yeah. And then I ask him another question and he knows the answer. And and sometimes the answer that I'm looking for is not everything's perfect.
Right.
Sometimes it's, I've fallen on my face and that's what I've learned. And so there's these little chinks, and I just met him one time. I don't know him yet.
Right.
And it's going to take some time to really have that trust that I'm looking for. Right.
Right.
So, yeah. So I just think it's that people need to spend time with each other before they can just say, oh yeah, we're in, we're this is the person. So that's what I would say in a nutshell. I would say my superpower, Pace Morby. I hate when he says, what's your superpower? Or people are saying, I hate that comment. You guys hate that too?
Yeah, kind of. It's kind of cliche. Cheesy.
Cliche. And it makes you feel like you're all about yourself. What if,
Yeah.
Monique, were you in the room with Vic Keller on that last meeting we had? And he
Yeah.
said there was a slogan. He said, "People, do you know what I'm talking about?"
People, when he was saying people, it almost sounded like what Marcus Lemonis says when he's doing business renovations and revitalizing, but I don't remember the exact slogan he used.
Yeah, but it was basically people who think that they're awesome,
Mhm.
And whenever I say, "Well, my superpower," that's what I'm thinking. Is like, you go in the room and the people who just think they're awesome,
Right.
and they may or may not be able to back it up, but they think that. And
Right.
I hate saying my superpower because like it makes me think people think I'm awesome. I don't think that. Matter of fact, my wife yells at me all the time for putting myself down. Stop doing that, Brian. You're amazing. Yeah, but you're married to me. You're married to me. You have no choice. But yeah, what's your superpower, Sharon?
If I had to call it
I'm
myself,
I'm calling you out. You have to tell me.
After
well,
we just
okay.
it's
It's numbers. It's running numbers. I am really good at underwriting and comping and cost estimating, rehab budgets, that type of stuff. And so that's why I love wholesaling, because most of what I do, other than relationships, is run numbers, right? And so I love it. Like, send me an address and I'll analyze a deal just for fun. Like, I really just enjoy like running the numbers. I don't know if that,
That is a superpower because
yeah.
I don't like doing that. So
Okay.
we might need to talk about how we can kind of collaborate because ultimately I'm building a business where I'm going to do what I have a partner named Taylor Ty. I said to her,
Mhm.
"Listen, I need you to do these things and these things because I can't do them as well as you can, and I need to go do what I'm good at.
Yep.
And yeah, that's a tool. That's a thing that I might need someday, or at
All
least learn
right. You got
learn
my
from.
number. Let's
I
do it.
love that. I
I love
love
it.
that. And then you're wholesaling. Where do you wholesale?
Yeah. Oh, so I mainly focus in where I'm at is Virginia. So I do the Virginia, DC, Maryland circuit. I do a little in West Virginia too, but not a lot. But I really try and concentrate in the Southeast Virginia area where I'm located anyway, because it's
Yeah.
quick. I can get to it. I know the neighborhoods like the back
If
of
you
my
can walk the
hand.
street, it just helps out a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So, like, I know the difference between this neighborhood and this neighborhood is going to be a major ARV difference. And a wholesaler sends me another dealer, and they're like, "Oh, it's this," and I'm like, "No, it's not. It's that."
uh,
And I can
yeah.
pull that out pretty quickly.
It's so funny because like I've been working in Memphis for 5.5 years, and so
Right.
I tell people all the time, if you want to look in Memphis, call me before. You know,
Yeah.
call me or just text me the zip code that they're telling you is awesome. Because
Yeah.
in Memphis, I don't know if you know about Memphis, got a lot of crime.
Right.
So there's zip codes that you are no goes, right?
Right.
And
Right.
so you have to know those things. And I only know them because I've been there for 5 years pounding the pavement there. But
Right.
like I said, so to your point, that neighborhood. It's easy. It's yeah. Two
Right.
streets, two blocks over could make a big difference.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, that doesn't make it not a deal. That just
Right.
means you have
Right.
to adjust your buy number.
That's right. You got to know. You
Right.
got to
And
know.
so, like, this neighborhood, we're buying at 35%. That's it. Don't go any higher because I won't buy it.
Yes.
Right. But
Yes.
over here, we might be at 55, 60. You know what I mean? Because it's a nice neighborhood. It's a desirable area. It's by the
Yeah.
hospital. It's whatever. Right. And
Yeah.
so if you don't know that, or you're not willing to, this is why, like, it drives me crazy. Some of these wholesalers that are like, "Oh, I wholesale nationwide." You can't possibly understand the nuances
Thank
of
you.
every neighborhood across the nation.
Thank you.
You just can't.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting out of one of my houses because I thought I'd go deeper in that neighborhood. I'm not, and I'm like, why am I there with one property?
Yeah.
And I lend in 5 states.
Yeah.
I can't lend everywhere because I don't know
Right.
everything. So
Right.
yeah, yeah. So you got to have
it's that risk tolerance too, right? You don't want to lend in an area that you don't know what the foreclosure laws are. You don't know like the true values of those properties. If you do need to foreclose, what that thing, like any of that stuff.
I have a story.
Do it. I love stories.
You guys are gonna go, man. You're gonna hang up, turn this thing off. You go, man. I'm never gonna talk to that guy again. But I like to. I love building relationships, and I believe that this kind of banter is like how you do it. So I love this.
I agree.
So I am an awesome genius in my lending business, and I found a deal where the guy needs $60,000. First position on a $400,000 house. He's a contractor. He'll get the work done. It's no problem. 4 months deal. 30% return. Have you heard of that before? Does that sound awesome?
Yeah.
$60,000 first position on a $400,000 house with a guy he just needs a little bit extra money to finish his house to make it $500,000 value.
Yep.
Yeah. 24 months later, I'm foreclosing on him.
Oh, dang.
And the story, why I'm bringing that story up is not because that happens, because it does happen sometimes, but it's in Virginia.
Oh, tell me all about it.
And this guy here thought that because he never foreclosed before, because I've been lucky enough to not foreclose. I thought that when you foreclose, and this is my rookiness, that you get to get the house from them, and then you can sell the house or keep the house, and then you can say, "Hey, I put $60,000 in, but I got a $400,000 house. Yay for me!" Not in Virginia.
Nope.
In Virginia, you go do this thing. You put the money down. You wait for all this time. You pull your hair out for a long time. Then you decide to do this. You hire an attorney. You have to pay him, and then at the very end, you don't get it. You get the money you put in plus the return you deserved, and you get your legal fees taken care of. And then the person who didn't do the thing, didn't take care of the bills, they get the proceeds after that.
Yeah.
Now they lose their house because they're an idiot, but they also get to keep.
Yeah, the balance.
Wow.
Yep.
I don't like Virginia for that reason.
Yep.
But I had to learn that.
If the bank forecloses, they get their loan paid off and whatever fees and whatever. But yeah, the homeowner gets the balance.
Why didn't I know you 25 months ago? But yeah, these are the things we learn, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you doing, Monique? What's your passion in the real estate business? Because I know you run a restoration business, which is like a full-time gig. I don't know how you do that and other stuff. But
yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, a little bit cuckoo. Well, we all are, right? So tell me,
we have to be.
What are you focusing on?
So right now, being in these rooms, Brian, as you know, with the Owners Club and Sub 2 and being with the other investors, it gets your brain thinking on a higher level. It gets you thinking, okay, I've been doing fix and flips. I have a clean and sober house, and I have all these rentals, and then you start thinking bigger in apartment buildings. And so we happen to have a piece of land that came across our doors here, in our rooms that we were in. And my partner and I looked at that and said, I don't know. I've done some developments, but not this big. It was like 44 acres. And it had an airstrip on it. And so we're like, this airstrip, what can we do with this property with an airstrip? So we might not be able to have the manpower behind it, but we know somebody who does, who we are also in the same community together. So we call this guy up and we say, hey, we got this piece of property. Can you take a look at it, see what you think? So he puts his whole team on it. He's got a team, a project manager, and he's got an architect. They're all looking at it. Pretty soon we've now fully blown out this property to be 100 acres. And we're building out an aviation community over there in Florida.
What?
It's so exciting. So
That's
exciting.
amazing.
It's really amazing. But you know, it's also about teaming up and being with the right partners and feeling the synergy of that and the just the magnitude of being able to learn from the people that have already done different things like that and seeing what they're doing and having fun with a project, not just thinking about, oh, I got to do this or I got to do that, but we get to do this and we get to do that and we get to bring more partners in because it's big enough a project that we can do that. And so that's
Yeah.
one of the things that we're doing and looking at more now, aviation communities that I hadn't thought I would, delve into, but now that we are, it's opening up a whole nother aviation community development.
That's the thing that I really am starting to understand that I need to change because I'm the guy who just does it by himself. And now the last year I'm starting to partner and bring people in that have skills I don't. But like that right there, as soon as I hear aviation, I'm like, not for me. I'm out too. I'm gone. And I
Right?
would have walked
Right?
away from that.
Yeah.
And you're embracing it. So
Yeah.
that's amazing.
But it's finding those right people and being able to do that is the biggest part of it all, like that. Because yeah, if I do it myself, I would like, ooh, I don't think so. But I've got the people that can, and I met them in this room and being in the right rooms. And did you know there's a thing called hamburger lunches that aviation people or pilots, they get their planes and they fly in for a day just to have lunch at this. It's not hamburgers. It's nice lunch usually. And have lunch together and then fly out. They call them hamburger lunches.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Huh.
So we're putting a restaurant also on the property.
Well, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
If you know anybody who does motorcycle riding, that's what they
Yeah.
do. They're like,
That's
we're going to
true.
go for a ride today. And they end up at this location. They all have lunch. They shoot the shit for 2 hours and then they come back. I mean, that's just they pilot's version of that, right?
Right.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And yet, I mean, and so I start, even though I would have run for this, like I'm acting like I know what I'm talking about here. But like, if they're going to fly in, why not have those mini homes where they can bring their wife and then stay the night and have a nice breakfast the next morning? And,
Yep.
and why not, create a kiddie area, maybe, I don't know. I mean, just make this like I'm a pilot and I have a family. I can go there for the night and spend it and have some real fun,
Oh, definitely. We're looking at that. We've got hangars that we're putting in backyards and around the airstrip, and we're even putting in a veterans area for veterans homes so that they can have a smaller place to stay. Not the big place because they need to have something smaller that they can afford, and then they can work on the property as well. So now we've killed two birds with one stone.
I love it.
And there's a lake and there's the area to hike and walk around and making it a fun little community.
So I have a broad question to everybody here, including myself. Did you envision that you would be doing what you're doing, some years ago? I was 52 before I bought my first rental property, but now you think about what we just talked about, all three of us.
Right.
I don't care. I don't care how what you say. That's pretty freaking awesome that we're doing some pretty cool things,
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
yeah.
I think that I think I always had big dreams. I just didn't know this would be the thing. I didn't know
Right.
what that would be about, but I knew it had to be something.
Yeah. I knew real estate. My wife says to me, because when I finally bought, what happened is she said to me, Brian, stop talking about it. Go buy a piece of property. So,
Yeah.
and when she said that, I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not into real estate. She knew. How'd she know? She's been listening to me garble about what I didn't do or what I should have done. And
Yeah.
so sometimes we're thinking of all these things, but we don't know until we get shocked. And for me, I had to get shocked into it. COVID changed my business. I didn't like what was going on in California. I didn't, my wife got sick. My kid had a baby, whatever. And all of a sudden, I'm like, wait, life's pulling on me. I need to pull back, push back. And so, yeah, sometimes so I honestly, that's what my podcast is kind of driving to. I want to talk to people who are trying to do something different and new. I don't want them to be 52 before they follow their passion.
That was my next question. Tell us about your podcast and what kind of give us a flavor of what that looks like when you do your, is it like a weekly thing? Is it like you're interviewing or you're teaching
Well,
people? What age group? All the things.
you guys are doing it way better than me. That's all I can say.
Well, thank you.
So you were one of the catalysts for my podcast,
Yes.
because when I joined and I met you and and a couple other people in our group, I just told them, I said, yeah, no one knows me because I don't use social media. I like one-on-one relationship building.
Yep.
I'd rather go to lunch with you all day long than ever do anything on, I'll never hold a camera in front of my face and talk.
Yep.
I just don't do it. And so in the conversations I had with you and the group of people, someone said, well, why don't you just have a conversation? And I'm like, well, how do you hold the camera in front of your face and have a conversation? And podcast came out of that conversation. And I'm like, wait, if I can figure out how to put a podcast on, I can just have conversations with people that I like or don't know and I'm going to like, or maybe I'll never like them. I don't know. But at least I'm doing what I'm good at. This is my superpower.
Right.
Relationship building is my number one superpower. The second one's action taking. I don't like sitting around waiting and wondering. So that's all I got. I don't got the good looks. I don't got the brains. I'm just doing my thing. And the podcast, so I started thinking about it. It took me a little while to think about that. And I thought, wait, I can do that. So what would it be about? And someone said to me, well, what's the audience looking for? I'm like, I don't know. All I know is
Right.
if I do it and I take the action, and if maybe my superpower comes out while I'm taking that action, then maybe I'll learn something. And oh, by the way, I'll hire someone to do the cutting and the pasting and the posting for me because I don't know how to do that stuff. I'm never going to do that. Hey, I can get social media out, and I can do a podcast and meet people, and I can build relationships. And holy crap, this is cool. And that's how it started. And so then then you have to have like have to have a thing. Why am I doing this or what? I don't know. I think it'd be kind of cool if I got a 30-year-old to watch my podcast and realize this old man started at 52. He's now 58 on Monday. And he didn't start till 52 and
Happy
he's
birthday.
doing the same. Thank you. He's doing the thing, and maybe it's not perfect, but he's doing what he wants to do. Maybe I can get a 30-year-old start that process in their dream a lot earlier than I did. And I think that's really my core of what I wanted to do. And meet people.
That's
So
great.
that's it. That's it. And then I learned, wait, if it's too hard to do, I'm not going to do it. So I talked to my partner Taylor Ty. I said, Taylor, build me a thing where if I say, hey, you want to be on my podcast, they can just click a button and answer some questions, and it will schedule them, and I don't have to do all that. So I just have to show up and just look as pretty as I am, and that's it. So that's so that's it. And so it started, and it's kind of cool, and I enjoy it. So that's it. It's not. It's a lot simpler than a lot of people think, but except for the fact that I have 20-something kids who are like, Dad. Every old white guy has a podcast now.
No.
Okay. I'm an old white guy. That's me. I got a podcast. Mark, put me in the box. I don't care. So I get a lot of ribbing from my family because they're like, what are you doing? I said, I am doing my thing. Shut up.
Living my best life. That's what you tell them.
I am failing every day. I'm failing forward every day. And you watch my podcast, you can see it, and it's okay. And as a matter of fact, I hired a producer because I'm like, I can't. It's not gonna. I can do the podcast, it'll never be shown anywhere. So, kudos to you for doing it live because now it's out, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, exactly. But so I had to hire them, and at first he's like, well, I can fix this, and I can make this better, and I can make the background better. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want the background to be better yet. I haven't earned a better background yet. I haven't earned the right for that. And so I'm kind of holding things back because I want it to be like when people see the first 10 and they see the 100th one, I want them to go, holy shit, this guy's grown. holy crap, this guy took it on when he was shitty and now he's doing okay. I kind of want people to see that path because I don't
Amen.
I haven't done that before. So
Amen.
it's new for me.
I love that. I really love that.
Yeah.
And on that note, it's been an hour. It always ends up being an hour, and we're like, oh my God, we ran out of time. Brian, it's been really great to have this conversation with you.
Ditto.
Your wife sounds amazing. We'd love
She
to meet
is.
her sometime. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ryan. Glad we got to hear your story.
Oh, let's do something cool together.
Yes.
Yes. Let's do it cool.
Yeah.
Something cool. Cool stuff.
Awesome.
I got lots of stuff coming up.
There you go. Talk to you. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.